This is UMAR Ahmed for IFL TV in association with MTK Global via Skype. Absolutely delighted to be joined by Hall of Famer Ray Mancini. How are you holding up in lockdown, Ray?
As best as possible, like everybody else. I mean, this is the craziest time I've ever gone through in my life. I've never experienced anything like this in my life, and I pray to God that we never do again.
I mean, we're all craving boxing right now. I mean, obviously, there's a more important situation going on in the world, of course, with people's health, etc. But I think we've globally been in this lockdown for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'll take any fight at the moment.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, look, every sport. I mean, there's football over there in the UK and everything. Is that pretty much shut down too?
Everything's shut down.
Yeah, like it. Okay, so again, the world shut down. I've never experienced anything like this in my lifetime. And you know, the one thing that connects everybody is sports and music. You know, but thank God for the internet. Thank God, because we didn't have the internet. This happened 30 years ago. The world is disconnected. There's no connection at all. So I don't know how long it's going to last. I pray to God it don't last too much longer, because people are losing money. I mean, losing jobs, closing restaurants. You know, the mom and pop restaurants, they're not going to last. I don't know about the pubs over there in England and other rest of the UK, but they're not going to last. The franchises will go, but that's the restaurants you go to, the mom and pop places, people you know, so you could have that socialization. That's by the wayside for a while.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. All small and local businesses are going to really struggle to survive in this period, and when they come out this lockdown. Ray, when I introduced this interview, I mentioned Hall of Famer. It must have been an absolute honor for you to be inducted in it. It took a long while after you retired, though, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Was there ever a time where you thought this is just not going to happen?
No, I never thought of it. See, that's the thing. When it happened, I never, and I don't mean this no false modesty, I never thought of my career as being a Hall of Fame career, because I didn't fight long enough. I only fought 5.5 years. 5.5 years, you know, look, usually when you think of Hall of Famers, you think of guys 10, 15, 20-year careers. And hey, look, boxing's a short-term career. Boxing, you know, if you're in it for 10, 15, 20 years, it does a lot of damage to the body, you know? So I was fortunate. I got in, I won the world title, I made my money, and I got out. I was fortunate to get in and get out. And I've talked to enough neurologists and neurosurgeons to find out it isn't 1 or 2 fights. It's over, they'd say it's over a long period of time, a long career. Now, even though I only fought 5 years, I had 34 fights in those 5 years. That's a long, not a lot of fights, not a lot of years, but a lot of fights in a short time. I thank God I can still say so far, because I always make the joke. The one thing I'm most proud of about my career, I can still spell fight. I can still spell it. But I say that half jokingly, because a lot of guys can't.
No, that's a good point. Very true.
So my point being is, so when I got the call that I was on the ballot, I thought I won right there. I just thought that was such an honor to be considered. Because again, when you think of people in the Hall of Fame, you think of long careers. So when I got the call in December of 2015 that I was being inducted, that I made the Hall of Fame, I was overwhelmed. And I said to him, and the same thing I just said to you, I said, I'm so honored, because I've never thought of my career as being in a Hall of Fame career. I didn't think I fought long enough. And I'll never forget, the writer said to me, he said, no, Ray, he said it wasn't the quantity of your fights, but it was the quality of your fights. I said, I'll take it then. I'll take it. But that was such a wonderful honor, and very, very flattering. So to be inducted with all my friends, my heroes, people that I had looked up to my whole career, just can't say enough.
Well, you were in that period where boxing became like a family sport in the US, and it was booming at that time.
Yes.
And you fell into a very good era of boxing.
Well, look, I come at the best time. Over the last 50, 60 years, the 80s were the best time for boxing, bar none. Before that, everyone talked about the glory years of the 50s. Well, we overtook that. And I tell people, in my era, you know, you had Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Salvador Sanchez, Hector Camacho. Alex Arguello, Aaron Pryor, so many great fighters of all the different weight classes. It's the only time in history that the heavyweight champ, Larry Holmes, who was one of the top 5 heavyweights of all time, absolutely, was not the most popular fighter. Every era, from the 20s it was Dempsey, 30s it was Joe Louis, 30s and 40s Joe Louis, 50s was Rocky Marciano, to the 60s when it was Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay at that time. Then later on became Joe Frazier. To the 70s when it was Ali, Frazier, Foreman. The 80s is the only time that boxing usually goes as the heavyweights go. That was the only time it didn't. And Larry Holmes, great fighter, but the lighter weights were more popular at that time.
It's a very...
I don't know what happened. Okay.
No, we're good.
I don't know what happened. Wait. Leonardo, I'm doing an interview from London. Let me call you back. Okay, I'm sorry. I got to find out how to get you back on. Oh, okay.
No, we're on.
Oh, there you okay.
Yeah, we're on.
My son just called me. I see them. How'd that happen?
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, you were speaking about, Larry, fantastic time, and obviously, as you said, top 5 heavyweight of all time, but wasn't the main figurehead at that time. And you're right. Boxing does go off the heavyweight champion normally, and he's the cash cow, if you like, the main figure, the most famous guy. But obviously, with that era with the 4 kings and the other fighters you mentioned, including yourself, it was about you guys. And I think we see a similar situation perhaps now. Would you agree with Canelo? Obviously, Tyson Fury, Joshua and Wilder are massive names, but arguably Canelo's the biggest guy in the sport. Would you say it's a similar time?
I think so. He's the biggest name, along with Pacquiao still, even though Pacquiao's on the downside of his career. He's still Canelo, Pacquiao. Look, you got the 4. You talk about the 4 kings. The 4 kings now in the welterweight division: Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, Sean Porter, and then you still got Terence Crawford. 4 of them, though, are with the same promoter. Crawford's with Arum, the other 4 with the PBC. What a round-robin event that would be. So what I'm saying is, boxing's popular. Then, for me, my favorite 2 fighters out there are Leo Santa Cruz, who's at 130, 126 moving up 130, and I don't know how to say his first name, but Inoue, the kid from Japan.
Oh, of course.
So for me, but what I'm saying is, these are the, and then over the look at the guys that from 168. Callum Smith from the UK. Callum Smith.
Billy Joe Saunders.
Yes. Saunders is. I mean, it's a hell of a division right now. The 168, along with Benavidez and Caleb Plant. I mean, so boxing is really developing stars, and Fox Television, PBC on Fox, made stars of a lot of these guys. It's just like CBS made stars of me, Camacho, So it's a great time for boxing right now. Unfortunately, this time frame, but when this all ends, you're going to see a plethora of fights on network television again. Going to have to. The audience is going to demand it.
Right, we'll come on to current boxing in a bit, but just looking back at your career, what was it like winning a world title, dedicating your life to the sport, and what a way to win the world title as well. Is an incredible knockout.
Well, look, it was my lifelong dream to win that world title for my father, who I thought was unjustly denied opportunity because of World War II. Everyone knows the story. He was #1 contender of the world for over a year. He signed a fight for the world title in February 42, got drafted in January 42. And he said, I want to defend my country. I just want the opportunity to fight for the title. And at that time, he said, I'll give all my money to the Army Relief Fund, which at that time was crying for money. They said, we don't want your money. We want you. So he got drafted into the Army and consequently lost the opportunity to fight for the title. And I always heard about how he would have been world champion, because he already fought Sammy Ingot, the world champion at the time, who he signed the fight in a non-title fight and beat him. So I always heard how he should have been world champion. And he never talked bad about it. You can see how it hurt him. So even since I was a little boy, I said, I'm going to be a fighter world champion for my father. Before people always say, when did you know you want to be a fighter? I said, from day one. There's nothing else I wanted to be. Even when I was in school, I was a good student. I got opportunities, scholarships to go to university, athletic as well as academic. Had a professional baseball offer here in the United States. So I had other opportunities. But my father said, I want you to pursue that. It was depression. I had to eat. I had to fight. You don't have to. And I said, no, I want to win that title for you. So for me, Umar, it was destiny. You know, I don't want to say, I don't want to sound like, but for me, it was my destiny to accomplish that. And I was able to fulfill that. So, yeah.
In terms of losses, would you say Hector Camacho was your toughest opponent?
No. At that time, you know, we fought 5 years too late. We should have fought in 1983, 84. It was talked that we were on the climb together. I was a little before, you know, he fought on one of my early cards, when TV fights. He was on the undercard.
Oh, right.
And then, you know, I used to see him in the gym. And then, of course, we started talking about Mancini, this, Mancini, that. Who's this guy? I said, let's get him in there. Let's just get him in there. Let's get him in the ring and kick his ass. You know, but he was a hell of a fighter. And we didn't like each other. I couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand arrogant. I saw him fight. I said, 15 rounds. I said, he's a quick boxer. I said, I'll keep banging that body. I'll cut him down. I'll slow him down. He won't finish the fight. I saw him in a fight in 1980 for the North American junior lightweight title. I was there in audience at the Phil Forum in New York. He was beatboxing a guy named Blaine Dixon from Las Vegas. Beating him every round, kicking the crap out of him. In the 11th round, Blaine Dixon made a shot in the chin. Camacho, you know, going great. Held on, don't blink. He was for dear life. Pushed him off, hit him again. Camacho held on for dear life. Finishes the round. 12th round, comes out there, boom, hits him in. Same thing for 11th, 12th round. He wins the first 10. He gets the crap kicked out of him for the last 2. Wins the decision, of course. But I said, this guy can't take a punch. Because Blaine Dixon was a sparring partner for me later on. And was not a big puncher, a good fighter, but not a big puncher. He tapped that chin. Camacho, you know, had rubbery legs, man. And I said, if I tap that chin, I'm gonna knock this guy out. So I always wanted that fight. And I believe to 15 rounds, I'd catch him. And then, you know, it never didn't happen. And then, you know, we talked about me fighting him. And then the WBA kept pushing me to fight Bramble. And we had the fight with Camacho basically set up, where we had that fight set up. And that was in 84. And then we were going to talk to Bramble about taking a step-aside money, which was common then. Guys step aside, then you fight the winner. So a lot of guys are making extra paydays to get paid just to step aside. But the WBA, the Brambles people put the pressure on WBA, said, fight man, make him fight us now. And so WBA said, if you don't fight him now, we'll strip you the title. Now, at that time, you have to understand, Umar, the titles meant everything. Now, they don't mean nothing. You can fight. People just want to see the fighters. If Errol, Spence, and Terence Crawford said, we'll fight for no title, people say, great, you're still paying for it. So that's what then. And so that's what I fought Bramble. And I saw Bramble, tough guy, but I felt, I'll beat this guy. Even though it was a tough style, hey, look, everybody had a tough style for me. I couldn't have an easy fight. But even your guy, George Feeney, over there, when I fought him in a non-title fight, it made it difficult for me. It's just because certain guys, you know, I beat them, but it's going to be a harder fight than it had to be. Anyhow, Bramble, the first fight, just didn't turn out the way we had hoped. It just wasn't a good night for me. So, obviously, everything went by the wayside. And then when we fought the rematch, you know, I had lost the love for the fight game. I was looking for the door. So for me, the plan was to fight Camacho, beat Camacho, and then I would look for the door then, you know. But it didn't happen that way.
You mentioned earlier that boxing's ingrained in your family, and you know we talked about the Hall of Fame induction. How proud were your family? Were they more proud than you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Umar, you know, for me, my father and mother were not alive to see it, though they were looking down on me. I truly believe it. My sister was there, my wife, my babies. But, you know, here's funny. I don't know if you've ever been to one of the induction ceremonies in Canastota. Now, every other sport in America, American football, baseball, basketball, every sport, when you get inducted, they have somebody in, you pick who you want to introduce you. So I told my boys, I want you to introduce me. So I called Ed Brophy, and from the founder, the creator of the Hall of Fame. I said, Ed, my boys are going to induct me. How much time are they going to have? He said, no, Ray, we have a guy who does it. I said, what? He said, we have a guy who does that. I said, who? And he mentioned the guy's name. And I thought, wow, that's kind of a kick in the groin. My kids, I want them to, but so I was very I didn't say nothing to my kids. I didn't say, you're not going to be able to do it. I didn't say nothing to them. And we got there. And I was trying to think I was going to tell Ed, and I was thinking, how am I going to break it to Ed, or how am I going to break, I don't want to break it to my kids because they'll break their heart, it'll break my heart. The night before the event, they have a dinner. So people getting up and speaking. Now they had me as the last speaker. They had about 15 guys. I'm looking at the clock. It's over 2.5 hours. It's almost 3 hours. Finally, I get that to speak. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're all looking to go home. Let's get a little long in the tooth with this. So I'm going to just say a couple of things. First of all, thank you all for coming. Second of all, Ed Brophy, I asked Ed about my boys are here, and I told Ed I want them to induct me, but Ed said no, that you have a gentleman, and the guy's name, whatever the guy's name is, John. I said, John, I don't know you, John, from Adam. So John, you got no shot inducting me. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have my boys induct me tomorrow. Is that okay with you? And he went, yeah. And that's how that came. And that's how that happened. Because I figured if I'm sitting there for 3 hours through everything I got to hear, and I'm the last one to speak, I'm going to call what I want. If I got to sit there for 3 hours, listen to everybody speak, I'm going to say what I want. And my boys are going to induct me. And you know what? To this day, I found out they're the only ones who've done that. I'm the only one who did that. My boys inducted me. People applauded them, gave me standing over. That what a wonderful thing it was. It was one of the best days of my life to have my boys induct me. And so, and nobody's done it since. And I don't understand that. I don't understand how can you not have someone in your family induct you. You have a total stranger who knows nothing about you personally. He knows about your career. Well, anybody could do that. That there's no. So anyhow, yeah. As far as I know, I'm the only one to have family members inducted who have somebody else other than this guy inducted.
Ray, of course, you stayed in boxing. What made you firstly stay in the sport and go into a commentary career? Well,
I was doing commentary from 1982 on. I was asked by Don King. I used to do commentary with Don King, Bob Arum, a lot of promoters early on. At that time they had active fighters doing it, much like they're doing now. But for a long time, and I enjoyed doing it, and I've done it for every major network 30 years. Every 30 years. For HBO, ESPN, pay-per-view events for Bob Arum, Don King. And so I never got, but everybody would say, oh, you're very good at that, very good at it. You should have a contract. I did it for Anheuser-Busch, had Bud Sports Boxing. For 3 years I did that, like in the mid-'80s, right when I retired. And then I did it for True TV only about 4 or 5 years ago. And, it just lasted 1 year. So I was so honored when I was asked to do this because they told me that AHMED, who's the head of the PBC, was the one who asked for me. And I was very honored. I never met him. I don't think anybody, very few have met him. But we did last year, and I'm the only one who worked all 26 shows. There's 26 shows, 11 on Fox, 11 on Fox Sports 1, and 4 pay-per-view. I'm the only one who worked every show. I was in the studio for all the Fox shows. I was ringside for FS1, and then I was in the arena, in the booth for all the fight pay-per-view. So I love doing it. I think I'm good at it. I think I speak. I know the fight game well. I think I speak my mind. If a guy's stinking out the joint, I'm going to call him out on it. I don't question people's talent, and I don't question their heart, because I think you get in the ring, you have to have a lot of heart, and you have the talent. But I will question their conditioning. I'll question their commitment to the sport. I'll question their desire to win the fight that particular night. And I think I do a good job. So I hope I do anyway. So I enjoy doing commentary. For me, it comes easy. I think it's easy talking about something you know about, especially if you've been in there before.
Well, Ray, people like listening to you, so if I can get your thoughts on a few topics currently going on in boxing, take your mind back to the last mega fight we saw before this lockdown, Wilder Fury 2. Do you see Tyson Fury outright as the number one heavyweight in the world at the moment?
At the moment, because Deontay Wilder was. Look, Deontay is a friend of mine. He's one of our fighters. I love Deontay. And I picked him to win the fight. I saw the first fight. And I thought he lost. But the two people said to me, what does Tyson Fury have to do to get a decision? I said, don't get dropped the last round. How's that? Don't get dropped. But I still thought he won the fight. So this one here, I said, well, this should. I picked Fury, Wilder to beat him. And I picked him not to beat him, but knock him out. I had a friend of mine the night of the fight. The night of the fight, I was at the event in Cleveland. I do a speaking engagement. Then I drove home, to see the fight. And I had a friend of mine who's a big gambler. He said, Ray, what do you think? I said, bet Wilder. Wilder's going to knock him dead. I said, the best bet is that don't go 12 rounds. But either way, don't go 12. But Wilder's going to knock him dead. He called his guy right there. 1,200 on Wilder to win and by knockout. So what do I know? Right? What do I know? And I thought Fury fought a great fight. I thought, and physically he's so big. Look, between me and you, between us girls here, nobody else is listening, of course. I'm not sold on Fury. I'm just not. He's a big, strong guy who can move. He jabs. A jab right hand isn't known a guy knows how to fight. A guy knows how to fight. When's the last time you seen him 3-4 punch combination? I didn't see that. He throws a jab, throws that right hand. But he did go to the body this time and dropped him with that body shot. So I was impressed with that. I'm just not so. I'm not saying I don't like him. I think he's good for the sport. I think he's a good personality. Boxing needs personalities. He's a big personality. He's good for the sport. I'm just not sold on him as a fighter yet. I'm just not. But maybe he'll win me over down the road. When he keep fighting these other guys, defend the title 2 or 3 times. But I like him. I don't know him personally, but I like that he's got personality. I'm just not sold on him as a fighter yet. So anyhow, but I think boxing's. I think they do a third fight. I think he beats Wilder again. I think he's got Wilder's number. Every one guy has another guy that has their number. You know what I mean? For every one guy, there's another guy. And for Joe Frazier, it was George Foreman. No matter what. For Wilder, it's Tyson Fury.
Let me ask you about a potential clash between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, 2 Brits hold all the heavyweight belts between them. Do you think Fury does a similar job that he did on Wilder?
I think Joshua is more of a classic fighter. He's got more of a classic. Wilder is so unorthodox, big punch, which is what makes him dangerous. But Fury's Joshua is more of a stylistic fighter. Keeps them hands up tight, jab, rip. For a long time, I thought Joshua would beat Wilder, and then when I saw Andy Ruiz tap that chin, I said, oh, he wouldn't stand up to Wilder right hand. He wouldn't stand up to it. But, I got to tell you, Tyson Fury is so unorthodox also. If Joshua could fight a very disciplined, it'd have to be a disciplined fight to fight Fury. And if he don't get caught with no big punch, I think he beats Fury. I think he would. Because he's a good stylist. Jabs, right? He's got all the punches. He just, I don't like how he beat Andrew Ruiz last time. Even though he won, I thought he stunk out the joint moving like that. But he beat him the easiest way. He beat him the best way. I got it. I think for Fury, you'd have to attack. And I think he could certainly beat Fury if he fights a disciplined fight. But if he doesn't fight a disciplined fight and gets, tries to go toe-to-toe, then that's made for Fury. Fury will make him look silly. Fury moves well, boxes, turns. Big, strong guy. Not a big puncher. I don't think he's a big puncher. He pushes his punches, but, if he hits you, he's a big 270-pound, 6'9" guy. He's going to hurt you. So it's up to Fury. To me, it's up to Joshua. He fights a disciplined fight. He beats Fury. He doesn't, Fury beats him.
Ray, Deontay made some comments on the PBC podcast. Let me get them, actually, because I don't want to misquote him. Find them online here. just get your thoughts on these comments from Deontay Wilder. Okay, he says, I don't see Fury as a champion. He ain't the champion yet. He knows that wasn't me. That wasn't the real Deontay Wilder. There's a time and a place, and I'll reveal a lot of things. What do you make of the comment?
No, that's foolishness. I like Deontay, but be humble. Say, hey, and he was early on. He was. I got beat. He beat me. No, what the hell mattered about Anthony Joshua? When he lost to Ruiz, a lot of class. He handled it total like a pro. Got the rematch, and he won. And he did what he had to do. Deontay, it's his ego took such a big ass whipping. His ego took an ass whipping too. And I think he's just got to be humble. I lost. Let's run it back, and I'll get him next time. Let's run it back, see what happens. You know, that's all you can say. But to talk like that, you sound silly. You sound stupid. And it sounds like you took more punches than you should have, you know. So it's just come on. Just be humble and say, it wasn't my night. Wasn't my night. Look, boxing is the one sport you got to be perfect that night. Not the night before, not the day after. That night. And he wasn't. And the better man won. Okay, it happens.
He also said that he's going to make some adjustments to his training team. I don't think he said he's getting rid of Jay Diaz and Mark Green and he's sticking with them, from what I know. But he's going to bring some people in and potentially speak to George Foreman about coming into the camp as well. Your thoughts on that, Ray?
Well, look, George put it out there. I can help him. I can help. When you're working with the same team for long, it was nothing to do with Mark. Mark Breland is a friend of mine. Mark Breland saved his life, saved his ass. They should be thanking, kissing Mark Breland's ass that he did what he did. Because Deontay was getting hurt. I don't know much about the other trainer. I really don't. You know, when you're successful, you don't have to be much of a trainer. You guys knock everyone out. We all know Deontay's not a great stylist. He's very amateurish in there. But when he punches and hits you, lights out. It's over. But you know, so the trainers, you know, look, I always said, there's a thing in boxing. Early in the career, the trainer makes the fighter. Where somewhere along the way, after a fighter wins the title, it kind of flip-flops. The fighter makes the trainer, you know? And so he was knocking everyone out, making this guy look great. I don't know who the guy is. I don't know if the guy can train. There's a lot of guys. Look, Kevin Rooney to me was not a great trainer, but he was a great trainer for Mike Tyson. But he's not a great trainer in my eyes. So there's a lot of guys that work for one guy, but don't work for others. So when they're talking about bringing other guys in, why? No. You don't blame the trainers. He got caught. Go back to the drawing board, figure out what it is. Don't wear a 30-pound outfit. How about just a plain robe and trunks? How about that? Does that work for you? It's the stupidest thing. That now the outfits, he spent $30,000-$40,000 on that. You can spend $5,000 on somebody making a nice robe and trunks, satin, nice, easy, silk, nice and light in there. You don't have to worry about your legs then.
Yeah, what did you make of that costume excuse by Deontay Wilder?
You know, he's been doing it most of his career. All of a sudden, he did most of his career. You know, last couple of fights, every fight's got a different costume. Now it's crazy. You're going to blame the costume. The fact that he didn't try it on until the day of is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Every fighter, when I go get fittings, when I used to I had a woman who made all my robe and trunks, you do a fitting, you try it on, make sure it lays nice. And you bring your cup so it can go over the cup. Make sure, you know, it's going to be okay. How could you not do that? I mean, everything they did was wrong that night. From the outfit to his game plan to the walk, everything. Stupid, just dumb. But hopefully you learn from that. Everyone's allowed to have one stupid, dumb night. We're allowed that. Okay, so hopefully the next time you get it right. But you don't. Why would you blame your trainer and bring somebody new? What are they going to teach you? You ain't going to learn nothing new. You ain't going to do anything different. Deontay Wilder is set. He is a stallion who's going to run the way he's going to run. He's going to fight the way he's going to fight. There ain't nothing different. Nobody's going to be. George Foreman can tell you, how to push big right hand. Deontay Wilder's already got a big right hand. What does he need George Foreman for? Tell him how to throw it right hand. Makes no sense. What he should need is somebody to teach him how to use that jab. He's 6'7", get long, learn to use the jab to set everything up. That's all you need to do. Go back to the drawing board using the jab. Oh God, I'm exhausted.
No, you're all right, bro. You're all right. You know the business very well. What do you make of the current state of boxing in the United States? In Britain, it's probably the second biggest sport. How big are Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Andy Ruiz, even these heavyweights? You know, are they well known in America, right?
Yeah, I mean, by the boxing fan. See, boxing, like in the 80s, when we talked about, it was, like I said, it was on network television. Now that we're back on network television, but there's a large gap for almost 20-something years that there wasn't. So when I was fighting, everyone knew. I'll never forget the first time after I won the title, Bob sent me over with Rodolfo Sabatini. He sent me to Italy on a goodwill tour, meet my family in Sicily. But first I got off the plane in Italy. I was in Milan. Mancini, yeah. And I said to myself, oh my God, the power of television. I didn't understand the power of television, that they know you all over the world. I used to get fan letters from Asia and all the parts of Europe and South America. So my point being is, network television, what boxing means, get it back onto the forefront of popularity. So we have American football, but American basketball, right? Basketball, boxing was the biggest sport in the 80s. I was known as well as Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, or all the football players. But boxing is an individual sport, so people tend to gravitate towards the fighters. Boxing was so big. Now, with network television, with the PBC on Fox, I think these guys could be as big as they want to be. Everyone knows worldwide Manny Pacquiao. They know that. Probably worldwide is probably the biggest fighter there is. Still, Canelo's going to get not there yet, but he's on a climb. So we need network television. Boxing, though the popularity went down in the late 80s, the 90s, just too recently, over when PBC or less, boxing is on the down. UFC took it over. UFC is not UFC's taken over is global. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a sport of the poor. But boxing historically has been a sport of the poor. So boxing never could overtake boxing as popularity-wise, as long as boxing on network television. Look, the top six of the top pay-per-view events of all time are boxing. Not UFC, not boxing. So anyhow, what I'm getting to is boxing on a worldwide scale is still top sport, along with soccer. And American football is coming. In this country, American football and boxing, if boxing comes back the way it once was, those will be two top sports. American football, boxing, and then you got basketball and baseball, other sports. But boxing needs to get with network television and bring it back to where it needs to be. On a worldwide scale, it's boxing, the sport, and soccer.
Well, a huge fight in the States and worldwide would be Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. What do you think needs to happen for that fight to be made?
It can get made. Look, people talk about that fight get made because Crawford fights for Bob Arum and AHMED. Well, they just did with Wilder Fury. Look, Bob Arum has been the biggest promoter over the last 60 years. AHMED has been the biggest promoter over the last 2 or 3 years. So my point being is, AHMED and boxing are the two biggest promoters. They can make it happen. And they did. Bob Arum is smart enough, and AHMED is, both gentlemen are smart enough to understand, forget our personal differences. If it means the most for the sport, and it means the most money, it's the biggest event, let's do it. And they did with Tyson and Fury, Deontay Wilder, they can make it happen. I think the hold up now, it was ready to happen, is that Errol Spence got an accident. Errol Spence needs another fight, maybe 2, and then get to Crawford. But it's got to happen before the end of we were saying the end of the year, sometime next year.
Who's your pick for that one, right?
I think Errol Spence beats him. I love Errol. I think I don't think stop him. I'm not sure stop. Well, I can't say he won't, but what some people say, well, stop him, knock him out. It's hard to say. With determination goes a long way. When guys, you got great fighters, it's hard to knock out or stop a great fighter. But I think it'd be a great fight because both guys want it bad. They're the two best in the division, as far as I'm concerned. Manny Pacquiao, see, Aaron said he won't make Pacquiao Bud Crawford. But to me, that's a better fight than Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a 154-pounder in a 47-pound body. Strong guy. He could go up to 60 to me. To me, Canelo though, at 160, he'd beat Canelo. I think Errol Spence is that good. I think that much of him. So you know what I mean? So Pacquiao and Spence not a good fight. Pacquiao Crawford is a better fight. So I think Spence beats Crawford in a very good fight. But I just think he's got too much firepower for him.
Well, we've done the heavyweights, we've done the welterweights. Just to round this interview off, last division I want to talk about is the lightweights. It's stacked with amazing young talent. You've got the likes of Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, Teofimo Lopez. Obviously, Lomachenko is at the top of that division at the moment. Devin Haney as well. How far do you think guys can carry themselves where they become superstars? We know they're big right now, but they have the potential to really carry the sport, don't they, those names?
Yes, absolutely do. But a lot of those names, believe me, I think a lot of them names, the guy, Loma is the division. He's fighting Teofimo Lopez. That's what a great fight that's going to be. Lopez can fight, man, can punch. The biggest puncher. He's the biggest star on the climb. I don't know. I'm glad they're making that fight. That fight that maybe, you know, you always hear this term. It drives me nuts, but it's a valid in this case. Let things marinate a little bit. I said sometimes you let it marinate too much where it's overcooked. Make it happen. I think one or two more fights. Let Lopez have a fight both on the same card. Have them both fight on the same card. Two different fights, and then Bob's good at that. But anyhow, he earned it. Lopez earned it. I think Loma beats Lopez and beats him relatively easy. Lopez is a big puncher. He can knock a wall down if he hits it. But Loma is a special type of fighter. This kid's radar, his boxing IQ is off the charts. I think he makes a miss. I think he gives him feints. And I think eventually he I'm not saying he stops him. Maybe he will later on, but I think he beats him by clear decision. I think Ryan Garcia he's got a long time before he gets to these guys. I think Devin Haney's another guy, self-promoted, does well. He's his own promoter. He's not going to put himself in any danger fighting. I don't think he's got enough firepower for these guys. I don't think so. The guys, Linares would be a good fight for Lopez. I think.
What about Tank?
I'm sorry?
As a fighter?
I'm sorry?
What do you make of Tank as a fighter? Gervonta Davis?
Tank Davis, I know. He's one of our fighters. Terrific fighter. I think he beats. Ryan Garcia is calling him out, and I'm thinking, Garcia, man, that's not what you want to do, man. Tank Davis can fight, can punch. I think Tank Davis. I think there's a lot of good fights between Devin Haney and Tank Davis. There's another kid out there too. I forgot his name. He's a good fighter out there. Devin Haney, along with Tank Davis. I think that's a fight. Tank Davis and Devin Haney would be a great fight. Let's see the winner of that fight the winner of Lopez Loma.
What do you make of Floyd Mayweather returning to boxing potentially as a trainer?
As a trainer, good. Yeah, as a fighter, forget about it.
No, not as a fighter, but he said he's come out and he wants to train fighters.
Hey, one of the highest boxing IQs, one of the best fighter over the last 20 years. Great. I know Roger, his Uncle Roger was a friend of mine. His Uncle Jeff is a good friend of mine. I met Floyd when he was younger, and nice kid, terrific fighter, great fighter. I think he has a lot of input. See, here's the problem. As long as he can do this, there's a lot of reasons. They always say that great fighters don't make great trainers, and the reason is because they want most of those guys who, when they cross over to be a trainer, want most of their fighters to fight like them. You have to be smart enough. You let a tall fighter fight tall. You let a small fighter make them fight small. You got to be able to differentiate what talents they have. I like to think I've been a good trainer only because I learned from the best, or Murphy Griffith. And I've watched the others. You can't take away from a guy what he's got. You don't want to make him fight anything different. If he's a tall guy, you make him fight tall. If he's a small guy like me, you make him fight small. So you go use the guy's strengths. You don't want to try to make him something he's not. If Floyd can teach these guys, if they're a boxer, great. If they're a puncher, Floyd was not a puncher, so he'd have to teach the guy to be aggressive and everything. That's going to be a challenge, maybe. But I'm sure he's got the ability to do it. So I'm happy. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be a great addition to boxing to have him in the corner. But as long as he can accept disappointment, that these guys aren't going to be as successful as he was. As long as he can understand that they're going to lose. Some of the fighters are going to lose. If he can accept that, great.
Very valid point. Ray Boom Boom Mancini, former lightweight champion of the world and Hall of Famer. Thank you very much for your time on IFL TV.
Thank you. May I ask where you're located? Where you
London. We're in London, yeah.
Yeah, London. Oh,
I'm in London, yeah.
Because I come over every September. I didn't do it last September, but the 3 years previous, I come over in September. My friend Scott Murray from is up in Manchester, in Birmingham.
It's a good accent, right?
He has bar sport, and he brings me over the last 3 years. So I come in, I fly in, I land in London. We do an appearance. We do our tradition. We come in, we do drive around Piccadilly Square, Piccadilly Plaza. We go to the Ritz to have tea and scones, and then we go to Birmingham. And then he has an event there every September at the end of September. And he usually has a lot of great English and UK fighters, John Conti, John Stracey, great fighters coming in. And Barry, get a chance to come in, Barry McGuigan. And then from there I do appearance there. And then I go, a couple of years ago, I went to Cardiff, Wales. And then I went to Glasgow. And then a couple of years I was in Dublin, but then last year I missed. So I'm looking forward to coming over again this December, September, at the end of September. So maybe before then we get to talk and maybe get a chance to meet you.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you're next over, give me a shout. But yeah, when boxing's back on full fly, I'm normally in the US, to be honest, covering the shows there. So I'm sure I'll see you over there.
One of our fights. Great.
Yeah. Oh, probably you'll be in England and I'll be in America. But I'll take that at the moment because I'm going insane at home. I'm sure you're the same as well. Yeah, Ray, look after yourself. Thank you very much for your time. And as I said, hopefully boxing's back soon and I'll see you, okay?
God willing. Okay.
Thank you. God bless.
Cheers.